Hello everyone, this is Hakaym and welcome back to some more World of Warships, and today I'm finally showing off the John Bart. Sorta. I've actually shown off the John Bart a couple times, but this is actually my first time taking out the John Bart in actual battle. Unless you count the co-op battle, which I really don't. So this is my first actual battle with the John Bart. I am joined with Dread in the Musashi and Requin in the Rune. He's currently working on his Hindenburg. Now let's actually talk about the John Bart. The John Bart's fun. I mean, I may have a slight bias toward French ships. I've enjoyed the French battleships for the most part, and French cruisers I've absolutely loved and adored. And the John Bart, it's fun. It obviously has the normal speed boost, but what it does have over any of the other French battleships is the reload booster, which cuts your reload down by half, I believe. And it's quite potent, and it lasts for at least 3 salvos. I believe it is around 15 to 20 seconds. So it's very, very powerful, especially against cruisers. Now, its main guns aren't particularly big. They're 380 millimeters, which is the same for the Alsace, Richelieu, Tirpitz, and Bismarck. So they aren't very large shells. So that's probably going to be your most major issue with the Jean Bart. It's going to struggle against other thicker armored battleships, even cruisers. Even Battle cruisers, you can't really do much, and once again, there is the penetration with no actual damage. So, in all intents and purposes, the Jean Bart is essentially a tier 9 Richelieu, and overall, very strong. It has very good secondaries. This is actually currently my Republic captain on this ship. I would almost tempted to say I'd rather focus on the guns than the secondaries. Secondaries are nice. They do have a 10.6 kilometer range, with the fact that if you do have secondary armament skill for your captain, they are quite deadly. However, for the most part, majority of your secondaries are, as you can probably guess, in the back. There are quite a few on the side, I will admit that, but your large caliber turrets are on the rear of the ship, and do require some amount of angle just to get them to open up. Not too much, but still, that is something to keep in mind. Now keep an eye on our priority target. It's ridiculous how much we're just being focused. I believe that Sean horse is actually shooting at us, which is very amusing. Do get a nice hit on the Debrotsy. Do earn a citadel. And the Jean Bart, it's a fast battleship, and this will play a major part in the future. Its bow armor is, I believe, I might be a little bit off on this. I believe it is about 32 millimeters. Future self will correct me. But it's, for the most part, it's like your French battleship. It has the 32 millimeter deck armor, which is very susceptible to IFHE, so Woosters, Harugumos just downright eat you up, so you do have to be careful with HE. You can stay fairly bow end. Of course, against a Musashi or a Motto, they're going to overmatch your armor, but that is kind of standard. And once again, kind of the main focus. It's going to get a little ridiculous. Probably that I'm a little aggressive. I generally like to see what the ship does, and the ship is, for all its intents and purposes, can be a very aggressive ship. It can't tank a lot of damage. That it just does generally take a lot of damage from HE and even AP, but it's a aggressive ship because it does have the ability to very quickly get into a new position. It has that reload consumable, which does make it very, very powerful against other ships. There you can see our secondaries are actually opening up. Overall, as far as the guns themselves, fairly accurate, even with the fact that I've pretty much focused on secondaries build with the ship. So overall, pretty darn good. So you can at least semi-rely on your guns and as well as your secondaries. Now, main issue, as I've already pointed out, the ship doesn't have a whole lot of health, not compared to some of the other tier 10s, or tier 9s, sorry, the other tier 9s. It's kind of a weaker ship. It doesn't have a large amount of health pool. So you do have to be really, really careful when playing this ship. It can be aggressive, but it can't tank damage. Not saying that you should just sit in the back and fire at long range. No. Be aggressive, but don't be stupid. That's probably going to be the best way to really talk about it. So, at the moment, our team is down a ship, currently trying to capture B. Our team's kind of, well, they're kind of sitting in the back for the most part. And this is where it just gets a little bit ridiculous. The Scharnhorst and Amagi are just constantly firing at us. Just being aggressive is probably the key thing. The AA suite is really, really good as well, as many French battleship captains are well aware, and to the misery of many carrier captains. Overall, your AA guns are fantastic. They do have a 6-kilometer range, so they do have a decent range to them. And the detect on the Jean Bart, not bad, 12.3 kilometers. Does allow you to get into a little bit more sneakier positions. We are detected by the enemy Z, is it the Z46? Yeah, Z46 over there. But at the moment, the enemy team is actually in a really good lead. Musashi, however, well, he decides to come around the corner. And granted, I am broadside to a Musashi, but good thing about the Jean Bart is you can actually slow your ship up relatively quickly. And, well, then again, it also kind of helps with the dispersion of the Musashi not being particularly great. Do pop the reload consumable. Do get a Citadel, do about 20,000 points of damage there. Overall, not too bad. Dispersion, once again, not particularly great, we'll admit, but overall the reload on the ship is fairly quick, around 22 seconds, and I do run Adrenaline Rush on this captain. Very lucky right there with that Musashi's salvo. And at the moment we're attracting about four people are aiming at us. I believe it's actually the Magi and the Scharnhorst who are constantly looking at us. Probably doesn't help that I'm actually the closest ship to them. Musashi, once again, turning broadside, gets a Citadel, and in that moment, we took out 2 enemy ships, and they managed to take out 1, and trying to get a little bit of distance, because we have been taking damage, which is alright. That is kind of what you want to be doing in a battleship, but you don't want to get focused down. So instead, I'm going to be extremely crazy, and I'm actually going to try to capture B. See if we can actually pull away. Do pop my damage control, trying to at least maybe disappear, but we are spotted at least for a second, and that means there is probably a DD around. Yep, it looks like DD is currently around B. And during this match, our actual Discord was going haywire. For whatever reason, Discord kind of went down. If we're showing a lot of broadside, do open up a salvo against him. Let's see if we can actually net ourselves a kill. That would be nice. Nope, 6,307, not too bad. Definitely put the benefit towards the Edinburgh, and hopefully that Edinburgh should be able to take out the enemy Hipper with no problem. But our main issue right now is the fact that there are still 2 DDs around, and lo and behold, there is 1 torpedo salvo, and in more than there is the second torpedo salvo as well. Obviously, he's currently south, and it is, in fact, I believe a Kagero lingering around the southern end of this cap. But he's not the only one, as we will see. He's not the only one. Now, we are attracting the attention of 2 destroyers. 2 were aiming at us. Could be that Scharnhorst, but I think we will manage to actually capture B with little issue. And once again, whenever playing a battleship, you want to be moving, changing directions, because, well, lo and behold, there's more torpedoes. Kind of a little absurd there. Getting to an island is a good idea. because you're at least able to prevent any torpedoes coming in from your side, which is where you're going to be getting most of your damage in from. And do manage to capture B. Enemy team is currently down a ship, and any moment now our secondary is actually opening up, and lo and behold, there is the Udaloy. But fortunately we do have an engine boost on, and the engine boost saves my life here from this Udaloy. Time to run. Udaloy is coming around the corner, dropping torpedoes. Here come the torpedoes. They are Udaloy torpedoes, so they aren't particularly fast. One set away. Here comes possibly another set. Secondaries are doing their job. And here I probably should have been paying attention. Managed to dodge these torpedoes. Right here I should be slowing up. Should slow up. But unfortunately Kagero is also around there, and Kagero really wants the D. Well, not too bad. Secondaries are opening up on that Kagero. Not gonna get the kill. Going to go down to the Kagero. And that is unfortunately my end of the run with the Jean Bart. Really intense battle right there, especially against that Udaloy popping out of nowhere. Well, I really shouldn't say out of nowhere, but wasn't expecting him to show up around behind the island like he did. We should, with little trouble, as the game catches up with my previous camera, we should, for the most part, win this battle. We actually do. Enemy team essentially loses all their battleships, including the Brotzi and the Magi and the Scharnhorst. So very fun battle with the Jean Bart. I highly recommend her. She is expensive, 228,000 coal. Highly recommend using the coupon for her, because I, being an idiot, did not use my coupon. So unfortunately I used 228,000 coal when I could have saved at least 50,000 coal on that. Probably around 60,000. Yeah. Not particularly happy about that. Completely forgot that was the case, but our team is going to win. So overall, not a bad battle. Very fun indeed with the Jean Bart. Very fun to be aggressive with this battleship. That's kind of what the ship is really good at. And that is essentially it for this battle. Our Kinakaze actually manages to get double strike. Very good job there. We're going to go ahead and jump into port. We're going to take a look at the stats there. We haven't done that in a little while, and I figured, especially for people who are trying to grind it their way up to the Jean Bart, this might be beneficial. And yes, so we'll see you in just a moment. Alright everyone, welcome back to the port, and let's take a quick look at the Jean Bart. The Jean Bart, as I did mention, and this is actually kind of interesting, because I actually have, obviously, a few battleships. The Jean Bart's health is probably something to keep in mind of. 69,000 points of health versus, say, the Missouri, which has 78,300, and the Izumo, even upgraded, has 76,500. Once fully upgraded, has 78,900. As far as torpedo protection, not too bad, 32%. Not as amazing as obviously the Yamato, but compared to some of the other tier 9s, which the Missouri has only 25 and the Izumo has, I believe, 28, pretty darn good. But the health is not particularly amazing. Now, I did mention that the bow armor is 32 millimeters, but for the most part, most of the deck armor is also 32 millimeters, and IFHE just downright eats through this armor, and you're going to take a lot of HE damage. So, like any French battleships, that's its main weakness. But as far as its guns, well, they're 380 millimeters, but they fire very, very quickly and very punishing against any cruisers. Silly enough to show you broadside, because it does have that reload booster in its arsenal. So very strong there. Turrets turn pretty darn quick, 33.6 seconds. Probably a little bit slower once you get the aiming system mod on it. But as far as damage wise, 11,900 for its AP, 5,400 for its HE, and look at this, I'm actually very happy about this. they actually put down the penetration capability of an HE shell, 62 millimeters. So for the most part, you can pen the Moskva, the Stalingrad's 50 millimeter armor with your HE. So that's very good to know. That's actually a new thing that showed up. Don't know when they added this, but at least it is there. As far as the range, 24.5 kilometers. Velocity on the shells, 830 meters per second, so pretty darn good. They do fly to target. As far as secondaries, she does have quite a few. She has 12 dual 100 millimeters. They have a reload time of 3 seconds, HE damage of 1400 with a 5% fire chance and 10.1 kilometer range. And then you have 3 triple 152 millimeters on the rear of the ship here. They have a reload time of 12 seconds with a 2200 HE shell damage with a 12% fire chance and a penetration value of 24 with a 10.1 kilometer range. Really do like the fact that they added that. As far as the AA suite, it's scary. French cruisers are just downright powerful against any aircraft, and we'll see what's going to be happening once they release the updated carrier, the revised carrier. This will be interesting. She has 14 dual 57 millimeters. Average damage is 357 with a 5.4 kilometer range. Secondary is 178 with a 6 kilometer range. And then last but not least, your rear turrets, 25 average damage with a 6 kilometer range. Main aspect is going to be the 57 millimeters. Those are by far your most powerful. Maneuverability, she's a quick ship, 30 knots. I'm trying to believe, I don't think I actually have currently the speed flag on her, so she is going to be a little bit faster. She does have the speed module, the engine boost, so you can get up easily around 34 to 35 knots. Turning circle radius 850 meters, which is not particularly the worst thing in the world, and rudder ship time is 12.8 seconds. As you can see, the Missouri has 920 meters and the rudder ship time of 15.5 seconds. A little bit more nimble and not as bad as far as turning circle radius. Concealment 12.3. Missouri, I believe, has 12.2, so very similar to the Missouri. And did I mention these ships are really good at printing money? So if you are wanting to make a lot of money, John Bart is the way to go. Detectability range by air is 11 kilometers, while firing and smoke is 15 kilometers. As far as the upgrades I've gone with is very standard. Put focus in its secondary guns. I am really debating to actually switch this out for the aiming system mod. This just reduces the dispersion on the shells, so they are a little bit tighter whenever firing. It's also very interesting, this actually reduces your secondaries as well, so that's something to keep in mind, but obviously you lose the range. I might try this just to see whether or not those guns behave a little bit better. That would be nice. I did mention it does have that reload booster, reduces reload time by 50%, and it is active for 20 seconds, so you can at least get 2 additional salvos off in the time this reload module is currently on. So do keep that in mind. And once again, I did mention that my captain is actually currently my Republic captain. He's the special captain, which does have the special trait of enhanced expert marksman, as well as reload adrenaline rush, which I do apologize. I actually lied to you guys. I actually do not have adrenaline rush. Fortunately, I forgot what was actually on this captain. So I have gone, this was a secondary build. If I were to change it not to do a secondary build, depending on how carriers are, you could obviously get rid of manual control of secondary armaments. You could possibly get rid of advanced firing training. It is actually super nice to have this just for your AA suite to tear down enemy fighters or enemy bombers and torpedo planes. If I had to do something else, I would obviously go for basic survivability, and I would go for adrenaline rush plus maybe high alert, just so I can get that damage control party back up a little bit quicker, because well, fires kind of suck, as well as do flooding. But this is going to be it for this video. I really do like the Jean Bart. But then again, I am slightly biased, so take it with a grain of salt. I've enjoyed the Jean Bart, the few battles I played her with. I think she's very, very fun. But anyways, this is going to be it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like what you saw, hit the like and subscribe button. You guys have a great and fantastic day. Zai Chen.